everybody.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you folks doing?
Doing well.
Happy to think about paddling weather on
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
cold and icy days.
Mhm. My wife will be joining here in a minute, I think.
I'm on.
Awesome.
My
Oh.
picture's just not on.
Oh, yeah, looks like we got 4 people on here. We'll give it a little bit here, see if anyone else joins in, but we'll get going here soon. You can still see the list, right? I'm just gonna X out of this on my screen.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just like put my video on.
Well, thanks for joining everybody on this cold evening. I guess it's not that cold actually. It's kind of warming up almost, but compared to what it has been. Awesome. Well, we can get going here and see if anybody else. Oh, there's one. Let's admit him. Hello to whoever just joined.
Hi, this is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Just joined. Hi.
Nice to see you.
Hey.
Okay, well, we'll get started here. So welcome everybody. This is the 3-day Namekagon paddle info session with Wild Rivers Conservancy. So we kind of made this year before our paddles, as they're kind of live for registration now. We wanted to give another opportunity for people to learn about the paddles if they're thinking about signing up, or if you have signed up and you just want to learn a little bit more about it in the soon here before we even get into, paddling weather. You can start getting excited, like Hannah said. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so what are we doing today? Here's the agenda. First, we'll just kind of briefly talk about what is Wild Rivers Conservancy, what do we do, why are we doing these paddles, some introductions of who me and Hannah are and who all of you are that are interested in these paddles, and what these 3-day paddles actually look like on the ground, on the water when we're out there. And we can even take a look back at last year's paddle. We have a great little video that one of our participants last year made that kind of shows it in its full glory, so we can kind of take an inside peek at it. And then we'll give you some more nitty-gritty on registration and how you can go about that if you want those details as well. And of course, we'll have some time for questions. So a little bit about us first. We are the Wild Rivers Conservancy, if you haven't heard of us. We are the official nonprofit partner of the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway. So we work hand in hand with the Park Service to make sure that the St. Croix Riverway and Namekagon Riverway are protected in perpetuity. So our mission is to inspire stewardship to forever ensure the rare ecological integrity of the St. Croix and Namekagon Riverway. And we do that through a lot of different ways, but the way that these paddles apply to are how we work year round and watershed wide to provide these meaningful opportunities for people to experience our ample natural resources within the entire watershed. And a little bit about us before we get into your introductions. You guys can have a chance to introduce yourself. My name is Owen Anderson. I'm the outdoor program coordinator at Wild Rivers Conservancy, and my role on the 3-day paddle is kind of helping coordinate in the front end of it, doing things like this, making sure that we're all ready to go, all the gear is ready, scheduling everything, and then being one of the river guides on the actual paddle, keeping everybody safe and monitoring things as we go. We're also joined on paddles by October, who is one of our seasonal staff. He's the outdoor program specialist and is one of our other river guides who also does a lot of other stuff throughout the summer to help support our programs. And then we're also joined on the call by Hannah here.
Yeah, so my name is Hannah Miro. I'm our land crew lead on 3-day paddles, which means while our paddlers are on the river, I follow along on land and meet them at landings, making sure they have lunch and drinks, and maybe most importantly, making sure that your luggage is waiting for you at the hotel at the end of the day. While I'm not on paddles, I work mostly in the office, so I really enjoy the change of pace in the summer and when I get to be outside and near the river. But my office job is a development associate, so I work in our development team, kind of doing behind the scenes fundraising, work, data entry, events, communications work, things like that.
Great. And now we want to get to know you a little bit. If you're able, you can
Are you gonna do?
turn on your camera or your microphone and share who you are, what's your name, where you live, where you're calling in from today, where you'd be driving from if you did this paddle, where you'd have to drive in from, and what do you like to do to spend time outside in the outdoors? Bonus points if it's paddling or it's in the riverway somewhere and you'd like to share that with us as well.
I can go ahead. I'm Lisa Etzweiler. I actually live in St. Louis, Missouri, but we have a cabin on the St. Croix. And last summer I worked as a river ambassador for the Conservancy. And since we have a cabin on the river, we do a lot of paddling and fishing and all of that. So
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Well, I can't see anyone, but so I can't see who else might be wanting to speak up. But my name is Tracy Moore. I actually live in the western suburbs of Chicago, but I have a place in northern Minnesota on a lake up there, and I have a kayak there. So I'm up there most of the time in the summers. I am retired, so I'm up there most of the time in the summers and a good part of the rest of the season as well. So I have my own old town up there, and then we have a couple other kayaks that we keep for family members. And in my spare time, I mean, there's lots of spare time because I'm retired, but the other activity I get very much involved in is landscape and wildlife photography. So I will probably have my camera somewhere nearby when I'm up there. And I am
That's
looking
awesome.
forward, I'm actually looking house hunting in Hudson or Stillwater. So anywhere up the corridor from there north up to like Taylor's Falls is kind of where I'm looking to buy a home.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Rhiannon.
Yeah, hi, I'm Randy Clary, Lisa's husband, and enjoyed being on. We basically live on the St. Croix River, so we're looking forward to this.
Ellen, I'm from the Kansas City area, Olathe, Kansas. I grew up in Minnesota. I like to spend my time, we paddle on the Kansas River here when we're in Kansas City, then we like to go to the Ozark Rivers down in southern Missouri. They're very nice.
Sweet. Thanks for sharing, Heather.
I could go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks.
Okay. My name is Angie Sanderson, and my husband and I are from Rochester, Minnesota, and we have a cabin in Balsam Lake, Wisconsin, which isn't too far from that area. And it's actually my husband's aunt and uncle, Kyle Sanderson and Kate Sanderson, that told us about this trip. And so we're hoping that all of us can somehow get on the trip. We're all looking forward to it. We're pretty much outdoorsy people and wanted to explore that. Kate and Kyle have been down it once before, but we have not. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Nice to meet you all. And thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now we can really get into it. So what is the 3-day Namekagon paddle? So we like to say this is our all-inclusive kayak trip along the Namekagon River. It's one of our, we like to say it's our luxury paddle experience that we provide at Wild Rivers Conservancy. So you get to use our premium kayaks that are, we like to keep really good care of our kayaks. They're a little nicer than some other places that you might find, like, like a Cabela's type kayak. These are name brand, really nice ones that we use on all of our programming. We have professional guiding, myself, October. Our entire team is there through the entire step of the way. And we're walking hand in hand with you, making sure that everybody's comfortable, knows what's coming up, is well prepared for the day and for the entire trip. Also, we have hotel stays, so this isn't a camping trip. This is a fully supported, pull right up on the river to your hotel, check in, take a shower, come out, go to the restaurant, hang out with everybody, and everything is pretty much done for you ahead of time once you sign up. Like I said, that also includes restaurant meals, so no cooking over a fire or camping stove. This is pull up, shower, get ready, and then join everybody for a meal and some drinks at the end of the day. And of course, 3 days of fun with a new group of people or old friends that you sign up with and getting that bonding experience out on the river. You'll learn and gain a lot of confidence in the outdoors. If you've never paddled on a river in consecutive days, kind of starting where you finished the last day and making those miles throughout multiple days, it's a really satisfying experience. And you get to look back at the end of it and feel very accomplished. And we get to build a great community with a strong group of people that all come together for a shared reason. And we can all leave feeling, like I said, satisfied and just that we kind of did something together. And now we have this new connection with one another. And of course, you'll get to understand firsthand the importance of the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway, which is important for us because that's what we work every day to do. And then we get to share it very in depth and on the water with you, which is one of the best ways to experience it and to take that with you into other areas of your life and keep sharing it with others. And for people that are coming from a little bit farther away or might not be super familiar with the area, I'm just going to give a little context for where we'll be in the greater watershed. So this is a map of the actual St. Croix watershed overlaid on Minnesota and Wisconsin. So it's kind of not a state map, but just where the water goes type of map. You can see this blue line is the St. Croix and Namekagon Rivers. That's forming the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota. You can see Minneapolis down here in the corner. That's where I'm calling in from today. And we'll be meeting for the 3-day paddle in Springbrook, Wisconsin, which is about 2 hours from Stillwater or 2.5 hours from the Twin Cities. And this is a great chance to explore those upper stretches of the more remote riverway up on the Namekagon River. We do a lot of programming down in the Stillwater, Taylor's Falls, Osceola area, which is very beautiful in itself, but it's a little bit of a wider river and more traffic. It's very nice, but it's also great to get up in those more northern stretches where the river's a little more narrow, a little more winding, less people, and just a more unique experience that is a little harder to get to. So this is a really great time to be able to see that. Oh, there's my arrow. I forgot about it, but that's where we're staying. That's where we kind of start the trip, right there near Hayward. And this is a more zoomed in version. If you're kind of a map person or you're interested exactly where we're going, this will show you kind of the actual route of the trip. So we start day 1 of our paddle right up there at Philippi Bridge Landing, just outside of Cable, Wisconsin. And we'll paddle first day all the way down to Sealy, which is where we stay at our first overnight stop, which is at the Lenroot Lodge, which is a nice, cool little boutique motel that I'll show you a little bit more in a few slides here. Next day, day 2, we paddle all the way down a little bit longer down to Hayward, Wisconsin, where we get to paddle across Hayward Lake and stay at the Holiday Inn right on the shores of Hayward Lake there. And it's a bigger standard Holiday Inn hotel. It's very beautiful. Then our third and final day is our longest day, but I would say one of the best days in my opinion personally. And we paddle all the way down through to North Springbrook Landing, which is where we end. And that's a very short little shuttle drive back to where we left our cars at the beginning. And you're on your way back home or to wherever your next stop takes you. So going back to where we stay on the actual trip, these are our 2 stays, Lenroot Lodge and Sealy, that first one. So like I said, this is kind of a boutique hotel experience. You can see it up here in this top right corner. You paddle right up to it and walk out on that lawn behind this sign and book into your room that you just walk right into this door, and you can see a lot of the rooms are split up. There's a bed on the bottom, bed on the top if it's a double room. And it's kind of a cool, it's not super remote, but it kind of has that woodsy feel, which is very nice. And then our next stop is in Holiday Inn, which you can see is a bigger spot down here. This is the spacious lawns that we pull right up onto from the shores of Hayward Lake, and we can hang out on the patio and dry off and enjoy the sunshine before going in, taking a shower, and getting ready for dinner. But here's a little bit about what it's like to actually paddle on the river. This might be a little different than other rivers you've been on maybe, or certainly different than standard kind of lake or pond paddling that you might have done in the past. So we like to just kind of set the standard of what you might be getting yourself into when you join a river paddle on the Namekagon specifically. So the Namekagon is a pretty shallow river overall, and it's got a good blend of some calm sections and some more swift areas with moving water and some beginner rapids. So we do say that some kayak experience is required to go on the trip, It's not by any means an expert level trip or something you need to be a pro at or anything, but you do have to be able to control the kayak confidently, be able to turn it, and feel confident in your maneuverability of the kayak for some of those basic obstacles that we'll find along our path. So I put these two pictures in just so you can see. This one on the left is Stinnett, near Stinnett Landing. We call it the Stinnett Chute, and it, I would say, is the largest kind of feature that you would see on the river. So it's just this one little V of water that you go through. It's kind of like a water slide. You can go on it, and there's not too many big obstacles. That's kind of the largest moving water area that we'll see. But then on the right here is kind of a standard minute-to-minute experience of just floating through calm sections, winding back and forth through the trees and through some marshlands and more shallow, sandy areas. But generally, when it's not like either of these things, there will be some very shallow sections of rocks. You'll certainly be scraping the bottom of your kayaks on the bottom, or our kayaks specifically. You'll be scraping on the bottom and hitting some branches here and there, and that's nothing to worry about. Like I said, it's a very shallow river. I think the average depth over the entire stretch is about 18 inches. So if anything, most of the time, you know, you can stand up at any point in the river or get to shore very easily if you needed to. And of course, we're there together as a group the entire time to make sure that everybody's prepared for the day, is aware of whatever obstacles might be ahead of us, and then we all work through them together and make sure that we're all safe and comfortable. So here is a cool video that one of our participants last year, Sherry, made with a 360 cam that she was recording the entire time. So I'm just going to play it and kind of narrate through, and you can get a more kind of eyes-on approach of what we're doing. So this is starting off day one. Going through there, you can see our executive director, Matt Poppleton. He's getting himself unstuck from a sandbar that he was caught himself on. Here's Hannah kind of explaining how to get through a little section. Here's one of those chutes that I was talking about. You can see you just kind of line yourself right up and go through the waves. You might get a little splash of water on your lap, but it's a pretty fun little water slide. Here's the Lenroot Lodge that we stay at for that first night. There you can see Hannah's already got all our luggage ready for us. And this is the Sawmill Saloon, which is where we have our dinner and next breakfast on that day too. Here's us talking about a little obstacle coming up where we have to go around a fallen tree, and we're just explaining how to get through that, making sure everybody makes it on. But you can kind of see the pace of the water, how it's moving, certainly moving water, and is easy to just drift along a lot of the time. Sometimes we're just kind of floating and chatting, not even paddling. That was one of our lunches. Hannah brought in the sandwiches and snacks and drinks, and we can pull right up, go to a little picnic bench at a campsite, and stretch our legs, have a snack. A lot of sandy here sections where they're just through nice reeds and winding stretches. A lot of good time to socialize and get to know everybody on the trip, meet new people. And I think the camera that she used is very cool, and it does justice to a lot of the really bright colors and very clear water. Sometimes if you look at the water here, you can even see down to the bottom. I like to be in the back and kind of pick up trash here and there when I see it. Here's going through a little portage that we have to do around the Hayward Dam on our last day, but we get to use the car and just drive through, so we don't have to carry any boats. Just a short little, I would say, I don't know, 100-meter walk down past the bridge. Just paddling through on our last day, I believe, through some little ripples and swift sections, back to the calm. Here's a great video of October, one of our guys spinning a 360 camera around his head. And here's everybody getting their nice action shot through the chute, and you can get to see who gets a lap full of water and who doesn't. So you keep your paddle in the air and just ride through. Oh, thank you, Hannah. There's the link to the video. Oh, they got a big splash there. Oh, big splash too. Here, we'll get to that. We'll show you our there's our executive director doing a fancy move, showing off. But yeah, so this is kind of the general pace of the trip, what it looks like when you're actually out there on the water. And hopefully that gives you a little bit more context to what you might see if you're new to the Namekagon. 38 miles total paddling over the course of 3 days. And here I just included some little quotes from some of our previous participants I can read out here, a little testimonial. Julie says, "This was a trip of a lifetime. Like everyone, I enjoyed the beauty of the river and its wildlife, but I also learned a lot about myself. There was something so special about the people on this ride. Everyone was genuinely loving and supportive. You could walk into a room or stop at a campsite where there was a picnic table and eagerly sit down with people you never met. Then the magic took place. There were no strangers." And Kate says, "It was very peaceful to travel on this beautiful river, a time for reflection and daydreaming that is often difficult in everyday life. It heals my heart and mind to be in our natural spaces, in parks and waterways that are protected and fiercely loved by our volunteer and organizational groups such as yours. It gives me hope." So that's kind of why we do it. We love getting people out on the river, whether it's at the 3-day paddle or any other event that we do at Wild Rivers. We love to get people out into the actual resource that we strive to protect and see why we care about it so much and try to pass that passion on to you all. So now on to, like I said, the nitty gritty, some of the details of the registration. We have a setup where we can have a single occupancy room or a double occupancy room. It is a $1,300 charge for the single occupancy, or if you'd like to share a room, it's $1,000. And that can be with somebody that you come in with already that you know you want to share a room with, and you can register with them. Or if you'd just like to sign up and be willing to be roomed with somebody else who might have joined the trip and is willing to go in a double occupancy room, we can accommodate that as well. So currently we have one room left for May, unless somebody signed up in the last 30 or so minutes. We still have one room left for May that could be a single or double occupancy room. And for our June paddle, it's currently full, but there is a wait list that you can join by going to the Eventbrite link and registering there for the wait list, where we'll be able to contact you if a spot opens up for you in the future. But we can share those links right now in the presentation, and we can also send them up in a follow-up email as well, along with our website that has some more details on packing lists and specific driving directions to where we go, and some more detailed like day-to-day schedules if you're interested in that right now. But if you were to sign up and have a spot, there will be plenty of more communication and other meetings in the future that you're able to join to learn more about those details and more about what it's like and what you might expect, how you can best prepare to get ready for your trip. And with that, we kind of can open it up to questions. Here we can see a nice photo of one of our partner park rangers who's giving a little presentation. We always try to partner with the park in all that we do, and there'll be some of these national park ranger presentations that we're able to provide on the trip as well. We'll have one at the dinner the first night, so that's another kind of cool bonus and educational opportunities that we have on the trip. But yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments or things that they'd like me to cover more? Oh, I see some things in the chat maybe I missed. Oh, it's just Hannah.
That's me sending links.
Okay.
No,
This is Tracy. If I could just ask, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, thanks. So if I could just ask one quick question, it's mostly because I was saying before, I like to do a lot of photography. I have a waterproof setup to take my camera on my kayak, but I don't know if it's recommended on this trip to just go ahead and leave, maybe just take my phone with me and then leave my other camera in the hotel or with the rest of my luggage. What you would recommend?
I would say if you feel confident with your own camera and you have a waterproof setup and you're willing to do that, it would be great. There's a lot of awesome opportunities to take photos. I've taken my DSLR on, I don't know if I took it on the 3-day paddle, but I've certainly taken it on our day paddles and things as well. And I just keep it in a dry bag and pull it out whenever there's an opportunity. So we have that great video from this. So I think it's a great opportunity to take photos and videos and get out there with your camera.
Okay. Is there a lot of wildlife that you would typically see? Because I'm thinking which lens I would take with me.
It depends. I would say it certainly depends where you kind of are in the pack of the paddle group. Sometimes the people in the front see a lot more wildlife before people in the back don't, when it gets all scared away from the people all oohing and awing in the front there. But there is, I would say maybe, I don't know, I'm not a photographer, wildlife expert, but I would say it's probably generally more landscape than wildlife if you're thinking about lenses. If you're thinking about a bigger lens for wildlife, there's probably more landscape opportunities and kind of those close tree and riverscape shots than wildlife opportunities.
It's actually probably better in the long run because it means lighter lenses. So thank
Yeah,
you.
that's what I'm thinking. Might be happier with the lighter lens than the 1 or 2 shots you might maybe get.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask, how large is the group that goes on each trip?
It's around about 15 to 16 participants is around where we have it. And then we'll have the crew that I showed there. So myself in October on the water, also joined by, depends on the trip that you're on, but some other staff might be present as well from our organization. Some of our managers and our executive director might be on one as well. So around 16.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
then for the kayaks that you have, do you, or will we get one that we'll use the same one for the entire trip?
Yeah, we'll provide all the necessary equipment. You're welcome to bring your own life jacket, but we do ask that you use our own kayaks, and we'll provide that for you. And we'll kind of have like an assigned boat that you'll get to make kind of the logistics very easy. You'll show up, and there'll be a boat with your name already on it, and that's the one that you'll get all adjusted to you and set up. You can keep your stuff in it. You know what it is. You know where everything is, and then you'll use that for the 3 days. We'll
Thank
make
you.
sure that we'll make sure that it fits for you and is a good one for you. Awesome. Are there any slides that anybody wants to see again, or we're planning on posting this as well. So if you want to watch this again or see the slides in the future or share it with anybody, that would be a possibility.
It's amazing. I know that we are on the wait list, so hoping that things might open up. So we'll see.
Yeah, our registration always goes live on the 1st of every year. So even if it's not this year, we hope that there's opportunities in the future. Maybe in the future we'll be able to offer more than what we're currently able to offer as well, ideally.
Oh, and is there ever a situation where the water level is too high, like a flood type situation?
I know that maybe Hannah could speak to this. In previous years, I've only worked here for about a year, so I know that, I mean, there could be a possibility. I know that it's been too low in the past for certain sections at the very top where it's even more narrow, and we've started farther down where the water was a little bit higher. But we would always like make a call beforehand. We do a scout trip well before a paddle is happening, kind of as that melt is happening when the water would be highest. So we do a scout trip then, and we'd be able to monitor the conditions and see and kind of make those judgment calls if we had to adjust our route or where we were going to go.
Yeah, in my experience, this will be my 5th season helping with the 3-day paddles, and it's always been low water that we're concerned about. We used to do an August 3-day paddle, and we've actually switched from August to May because of that low water. So obviously sometimes snow melt can change water levels, but our team is always watching, and like Owen said, we scout to take a look at some of those sections that may be trickier, or any trees that may potentially have come down, and make sure that we can kind of get a good handle on how the paddle will be. So we're always keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw a question come through the chat asking if we accommodate dietary restrictions. And the answer is yes. So I handle all the ordering of food, and will do my best to accommodate any restrictions, whether that's, dairy-free, or if they're allergies, gluten-free. We do our best to accommodate those needs. We usually have an assortment of snacks that include some gluten-free, dairy-free options. But I always say if someone has a major dietary restriction, feel free to bring some snacks that are are good for your restrictions and that you like, just to have on hand in case what we have isn't what you prefer or what you can eat.
What time are you usually out on the river in the morning, and what time do you get off?
Oh, that's a good question. We usually, am I remembering this right? And our morning briefing is usually like 9-ish, 9:30, 8:30, depending on like if it's going to rain or what we're thinking for the day. Around that time, it's like wake up, have a relatively lazy breakfast and get ready, and then we'll head out around that time. It's not too much of a rush. And then the paddles kind of get longer throughout the 3 days. So our last day is the longest mileage, where like as our first paddle, we won't get on the water, or our first day, we won't get on the water until after lunch, really, by the time we all meet and shuttle and everything. But we usually get off the water, I would say around 3-ish, 2 to 4.
Yeah, that
Depending
first
on
day
the
is
water
later
and yeah.
because we have a later start, and then the second day is usually a little bit earlier because we get an earlier start. But I would say we aim for like 9:30 briefings.
Yeah.
But if there's been multiple times where we know that weather is coming in later that day. So we always kind of do a quick debrief after dinner, just to kind of set the time for the debrief, or the briefing the next morning. So we kind of have to be flexible sometimes with the weather, but that's kind of the baseline that we go for.
Yeah. Or make it so you have enough time to get in and take a shower and relax a little bit before dinner.
For sure.
Cool. Any last minute questions here?
No, it looks great. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. Hopefully this could, answer some questions and give a little bit more context. And if anything comes up in the future, feel free to reach out to me. Hopefully you all have my email from what I sent out earlier, but feel free to respond to that or the paddle@Wild Rivers Conservancy email as well. And we'll be here if you have anything, and we'll hope to see you on the water sometime soon.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.